I never think about using a timer. That's what I need to do though. But everything you're saying, I experienced it. And that's what kind of made me want to start documenting so I can help other younger people, because when I
Yeah.
was little and, I'm trying to tell this stuff to my parents, all that stuff kind of develop into depression when you grow up that way, but
Right.
but it's a part of your journey to get it all
Right.
out.
Yeah.
But it's like, that I started walking early, started talking early. All my memories, I know I've have them all, because I'll tell, when my mother was alive, I used to tell her about certain stuff, and she was like, "How do you know all of that? You were just 3 months." It's like, man,
Right.
I was there. I just couldn't talk.
Right.
And that was like torture for me, because I was there, present, aware, but couldn't control my limbs how I wanted to. And I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know. I just thought I could just do it through thought,
Right.
but nobody could hear me, hear me thinking. And
So,
then
what do you think happens when somebody has a spiritual gift like that, but then they're pushed into, say, religion and a really bad life, right?
mhm.
And then they get older, they still have these gifts, but they're dormant. What do
it's
you think happens? Do they go on into the next life
it's
that,
it's different for everybody, because it's still a part of their astrological chart. Some
yeah,
people, they may never, because they may stay fixated on the illusion. Some
mm-hmm,
people are actually going to start that journey and try to figure it out.
yeah,
And like for me, my parents started going to church when I was 5 years old, and I was just like, hella, like, oh, I don't want to do this. Why are we going to church? They don't make. There's no. To me, there's no God, because there was never none in any of the dimensions that I lived in. Any of the memories, it was like
right,
we were the gods, but we didn't have this morality thing that only exists in certain places. So it
yeah,
wasn't bad places; it was better places actually.
right.
So when I had to go through that whole church process, I had memorized all the sermons, and people would always come up to me in church and be like, he's going to be something. He's going to be speaking. He's going to be like a pastor or something.
That's what they told me. Like, I was
It
gonna, yeah,
was because I could recite the basic energy of the information. I wasn't memorizing the verses and stuff like that. It was just, and then I
right,
started speaking about the things that they don't talk about. The
right,
the giants and all that stuff that's in the Bible. They talk about the Nephilim. So it's like you skip over certain information
yeah,
to formulate a morality, but you're not speaking about there's a guy in the Bible that's supposed to be still alive to this day. I
yeah,
forgot his name. They even made a movie about it. So it's like all this information about UFOs, all that stuff in there. But that I know that from my research that the Bible was compiled from numerous stories, which
of
still
course,
all comes from astrology,
right.
no matter
And
how you break it
people are
down.
going by astrology, like these old timers are going by astrology and don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
Farmer's Almanac, right? They go by astrology to tell how the weather's going to be,
Yeah.
when to grow which crop,
And see,
you know.
I knew some of that stuff growing up as a kid, because my mother's family, they're all indigenous to this land.
Yeah.
So it was like I learned how to look at the whole environment, the trees, the animals, and stuff like that. To kind of like talk to you, like you saying, everything is kind of like tarot. It's like
Yeah.
this dimension talks to you too through everything.
It does. Now that's something that I had known as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like lay in the grass and I would just feel like part of everything. I would sit outside alone and just watch the leaves, blow in the breeze and be like, I'm part of that. That's me. Like I'm here but I'm there. I'm everything. I'm
Yeah.
everywhere, you know. That sounds like a poem.
Mm.
But I do write a
see,
little bit of
see, that's
poetry.
why you have to. I had to smoke to get back on the right level.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, ayahuasca was the thing that jump started my um, willingness to do what I'm supposed to be doing.
Uh,
You know, it's kind of like if you know certain things, it doesn't really mean anything unless you activate it.
yeah.
So it, I don't know. I think I needed to do a lot of healing within myself and able to move forward to be where I'm at right now. Ayahuasca definitely activated that. And, like I always say, it's like 20 years of therapy in one night because you go through everything. You see the programs, you see that you are a part of everything. We're all made of the same thing,
Yeah.
you know, so we're so much bigger than ourselves. And our brain don't just stop right here in this skull. Uh it's able to pick up everything around. It's I don't know how it works. It just does. And I've accepted that. I don't have to understand it. I just accept it. And I'm just like, whatever wants to make itself known, let it be. I just
So,
accept it for what it is.
so what's something that stood out within like your life that made you kind of just gravitated towards it more? Was it something that happened toward something in the past, and then you kind of just brushed it off, and then later on something happened again?
I think well, I've always been able to interpret dreams.
Mm-hmm.
So people would always come to me and ask me, or they would come to me and tell me, hey, I had this dream, da 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 da. And I would be like, oh, well, that just means da 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 da. And, you know, that was something. Something else that I've always been able to do is read pictures. Like, you can show me a picture of somebody and I know their personality. I never knew how I did. I've always been able to do that. And it started from like looking in the yearbook at, in my school, people I don't even know. And I'll be like, oh, that person's da 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 da. I just, I've always been able to do it. So my friends, when they're dating somebody, they're like, sending me a picture of the dude that they're dating. And they're like, hey, tell me about this person. And I think the most craziest one that was like so legit. I told my friend, I was like, bro, he like jacks like 3 times a day. And she come back and she was like, I swear to God, she asked him, she asked him straight up. She was like, how many times. And she's like, how do you know this stuff? I was like, I don't know. I don't know how I know. It's just there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how do you know your phone works? You just know. How do you know your car runs? It's just I don't know. It just anyway, but that I don't know.
Mhm.
It just projected me into various areas of spirituality, you know. I don't I've always had like encounters with um entities or even when I was a teenager, I had like this dream that I was abducted, by aliens. So I slept in my brother's room for months. I slept in his closet. I was scared. That was a very traumatic experience. So, I've had like different types of situations that just makes me believe or try to get more in tune into my inside myself.